What's up, folks? How you all doing? Today, we're going to be talking about Jurassic World Chaos Theory. I just finished watching up the first season, and I thought it was actually pretty great, which is not at all what I expected. Going into this, I had zero expectations for the show whatsoever, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, yeah, let's get into it. Right before we get started here, I just want to let you guys know that this review will contain spoilers. So if you want to come in spoiler-free for this show, make sure to go watch it before coming back to this video, but definitely come back to this video. Now, if you haven't seen the season yet, which I do recommend doing before you actually come and watch this review, like I said, this show basically follows the characters of Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, which was the previous Netflix original Jurassic World show, which had 5 seasons, and basically the characters were teenagers then, and now they're kind of young adults, but I think most of you guys know this, and one of the main 6 campers from Camp Cretaceous, Brooklyn, is dead. She's basically dead. We're on the mainland, and she died to an Allosaurus, basically, and that's kind of what sets off the entire plot here, and it's essentially a lot more of a suspense mystery sort of thing than it is compared to what the first 5 seasons of Camp Cretaceous was. It definitely takes a different shift, and we're going to talk about all of that, the good and the bad, but I will admit mostly the good, because once again, as a whole, I really enjoyed this, man. Like, I thought it was really, really good, and I know I am pretty prone to coming out of Jurassic Park related things in general, like media, and always having like a positive look, and then a lot of times I come back to it and be like, I don't really think that. The prime example of which on this channel was my Jurassic World Dominion review from almost 2 years ago, which I do not agree with in the slightest anymore. I still think the movie's not terrible, I just don't really enjoy it all that much anymore. And that was my review did not reflect that whatsoever. So there are cases where I look back at things and I'm like, I thought they were good, but it's just not great. It's more on the mediocre side, possibly even bad. This one, though, I don't see that with, honestly. I really, really enjoyed this season. It was so much different than I was expecting. And I didn't have high hopes coming in, honestly, at all. But we're going to discuss the good and the bad. I'll go ahead and start with the bad since, once again, it wasn't a lot, so don't worry, this won't be a super long part of the video, but there are things I still think could have made, a little bit more sense, and I could have enjoyed a little bit more. One thing is, each of the campers are kind of introduced in the slow way, like a slow burn, we don't start out with, like, perspectives of each of the characters. We start out with Darius, and then we get to each of the other characters. We start out with Ben, too, I guess, in a way, and then after episode 1, it's just, like, each of the characters are slowly revealed one by one, except Brooklyn, of course. And I think that's done really well. That's actually not one of my complaints. My biggest complaint, actually, with each of these characters is I like seeing all of them. I think all of them are handled really well. It's some of the best stuff in the entire show, or at least this season 1. However, the one character I thought was introduced, at the very least, a bit poorly is Kenji. I see why a lot of people find his character to be the best part of this, and I'll admit he got better way, way more throughout, like, the rest of the season. But at the beginning part, I don't know, I didn't love everything with him. They pull that stereotype where he's mad at Darius, which is something we've already seen before. And I get it, like, your best friend died, somebody you were having a romantic relationship, they died. And you can blame that with anybody, but I don't know, I feel like we've already seen that before. We did see that before in Season 5. With the way that Darius looked at Mr. Khan, right? And we also saw Mr. Khan in this season, and I don't know, I felt that was very retready. The point where it got right back onto me, it actually felt earned after that with the whole Mr. Khan thing. Like, originally, again, I'm not really on board with that plot point entirely. I thought that, okay, we just saw this character. Do we need to again? Is it going to be more of the, oh man, you were always my son bullcrap, that you always see in TV shows. The point where it got good for me is when they killed him off. That point, that's where it got good for me, and then after that, I thought Kenji was really good. So, it was just that introduction, but honestly, like, it just got fixed. Like, one of my 3 major issues of the season, it just got fixed like that, which is, it's pretty insane, honestly. And I think it's just such a commitment, and just shows, it's a true testament to how good this new show really is, at least in my opinion. But we're going to talk about criticisms a little bit later from other people. The other thing I want to talk about here is kind of the derailment of the story, which I think is the biggest problem that doesn't really, like, get solved because it kind of happens towards the end. Because the main plot of the story is just this huge mystery. It's like a thriller, honestly, in a way, where we just have, like, these characters being hunted that we've seen it before, but they're being hunted. And it's, like, some dinosaur stuff, like, we get the Atrociraptors, obviously, but then there's also this mysterious figure, which we'll talk about it. Oh yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. But in terms of that mystery, it works so well that towards the end, once you get to at the end, it becomes more familiar, if that makes sense. I think the show does a great job at detaching itself from some of the things from Camp Cretaceous, because I like the first 3 seasons of Camp Cretaceous a lot. I really do. But I like how the show really kind of detaches itself and makes it feel different, even though these are the same characters. It's like a different movie, basically, but, in the form of a TV show. I just feel like towards the end, once they really start steering the plot, it becomes more of the less of the like surviving aspect, kind of, and it becomes more of like, oh, saving the day, saving the dinosaurs, and that's kind of what happened at the end, towards there, especially towards episode 9 and 10. Those episodes are still enjoyable and have their moments, but I don't know, some parts of that could have been, a little bit better. I don't remember exactly what happened, to be honest. I didn't write a lot of notes, but I do know that the parts was more focused on how they were doing the dinosaur auctions and everything, and how they're trading and selling dinosaurs, and they were more focused on that. And I can see the characters' motivations, right? We know that Darius especially and all these other people, they're all good people at heart, and they would do good things. It leaves you on a little bit of a weird note, and that kind of like translates to the ending where they decide to get on the boat. But that didn't bother me, honestly. I feel like that's just, you got to do what you got to do. Like, these characters, they're always going to be good spirited, and I think that's enough of a reason for us to keep going on these adventures with these characters. Like, yes, is it unrealistic? If I was in the situation, or if you were in the situation, neither of us would probably go on that boat and, escape and, go find out what's going on with all these dinosaurs. But we know these characters probably would in this universe, so it doesn't really bother me all too much. The last small element, I guess, it's not really a huge issue, but it's just something else that I feel like I wasn't, like, super on board with, was what they did with Bumpy. It was, I don't know, it was just very sparse. Like, we get to see that she's with Sammy, which I don't think makes much thematic sense at all. I don't know why she is, but, I mean, I guess we can believe it. And then, we don't really, she's not part of the adventure, so it just kind of feels like, oh, right, anytime Ben is worried about him, we're like, oh, yeah, right, that's happening. I will say, though, and I know some people don't like the scene, but I really, really, really like the scene where she's giving birth, which sounds weird when you say it out loud, but, it's a dinosaur, and it's giving birth to a baby Bumpy egg, basically, and I thought that was so cute. Not just cute, but I don't know, just a nice subversion. Like, those are the things in this show that I just really enjoyed. Just feel like such an upgrade, like, they're actual storytelling, actually keeping you on edge. Like, you think she's gonna die, and then, like, out there, and honestly, I don't think her death would have meant anything at that point in time. Like, I don't think you really need to go out. That's something that the show does really, really well that we'll talk about, is just how it handles, like, all these deaths, like, A, with obviously Brooklyn's death and everything, and then B, with, like, all these, like, smaller deaths that happen throughout the story that still get, like, the weight they deserve. I didn't think Bumpy would be the same way, and they didn't, because they just didn't kill her off straight up, which I think is such a good move, and I love that. Yeah, I think that's such a cute subversion, and not only that, it's just a cute scene altogether. Like, I can't wait to see what they do with that. Like, it's small, it's really there just to, be like a nice audience pleaser, but I don't know, it just works. It's some of the things that it just works for this kind of story. So I think that it honestly, again, two of these elements, A with Kenji and B with Bumpy, I think both of them started off a little bit rocky, but I think I came to enjoy them. And the Kenji thing isn't like a huge deal. Like, again, they fixed it later on. I just don't love the way he's introduced with his sort of back turned to Darius. So some of those elements with Kenji didn't really work. I mean, it wouldn't be that much of a prevalent quote-unquote issue if it just wasn't so, like, inverse. Like, I think around episode 4 especially, like, the first 3 episodes did great with the suspense stuff. And episode 4, we really focused on how, Kenj doesn't really want to be around Darius and stuff. And you kind of get into that, like, more cliche territory, which I wasn't, like, huge fan of, more stereotypical storytelling. It wasn't bad, per se. Like, I could get through it. It just wasn't my favorite episode. That's probably my least favorite episode. And I might do an episode ranking at some point in the future, but for now, I kind of want to get my thoughts, like I said, not a super scripted video. And then, I mean, I don't even know, like, I think that's everything I didn't enjoy here, like, maybe, like, one-off, like, bad lines or something like that, but honestly, everything else, like, I genuinely found everything to be, like, really, really enjoyable, and that was such a refresher to see after what season 4 and 5 were, which was not great at all, to say the very least. So from there, let's just dive into everything else that I really enjoyed, which was literally everything else. Starting with just the way the story is laid out, I think it's awesome. That's honestly probably the highlight of this season, at least this first season. The mystery and suspense in this one, like it had me on edge. It's just such great storytelling. Like, I don't know, like, you put me in a world where there's dinosaurs and they're out with these characters that we've already seen, so there's no need for super heavy exposition. There's some exposition for people, who are jumping into the show for the first time without watching Camp Cretaceous, but it's not super heavy. And then on top of that, we have, like, this amazing, like, suspense thriller vibe to it. It's not like the scariest, darkest thing ever, but I mean, even saying that, like, there's death all over the place. Like, I couldn't even count the amount of death there was. Like, not just, like, random bodies everywhere, but, like, actual, like, people who, like, are named, they're in scenes, and then they just die. And I like, Oh, I know it sounds bad, but oh my, I love that. It's such a refresher from Dominion, which just had no stakes because of the way that they just treated characters. I just find this to be such an improvement over that, like, actual good storytelling, actual good stakes with that storytelling. The first 3 episodes are my favorite, honestly. I think that's where the show peaked, which I know sounds bad, but no, it's truly not. The rest of the show is really great as well. There's lots of great moments, but the first 3 episodes are truly something special, honestly. Like, they really captivated me in a lot of ways with that storytelling. Again, the way that Ben just shows up, like, the little jittery moments as well, like, with how the characters act and these little, like, I don't know, touches. Like, I can't think of many great examples off the top of my head just because, again, I've only watched it once, but honestly, if I go back and rewatch, I feel like it'd be so enjoyable for that exact purpose. So, yeah, I really enjoyed everything about the suspense and the way that was enjoyed. The general story structure was really great as well. I didn't feel like the pacing was bad or off at all. I felt like everything was really well handled. And again, I really love the way that we get to meet each one of these campers. And we'll talk more about the campers themselves, I guess the camp fam, as they would say. But I like the overall structure overall. Like, it's not the most tightly written thing in the world. Like, we don't get the suspense all the way through. But I think whenever you get those elements where either the Atrociraptors show up or that scary-ass lady shows up, like, anytime something like that, like, it just kicks in. It just kicks in full force. And you're like, man, this is some good stuff. This is some popcorn-worthy stuff. And it just enticed me, honestly, like, with everything to do with that. And I'd love to go deeper into some of these specific moments and episodes in the future because there's so much to dive into. But again, this is pretty surface level. Still wanted to make a detailed analysis, or not really analysis, but review. But yeah, just want to go surface level with that. But there's so much to talk about with the way that the suspense is handled, especially with Brooklyn. Like, everything with Brooklyn. Like, man, like, there was so many great moments with that. Obviously, character moments, but also, like, the way that Darius would look into the Allosaurus and we just get this, like, flashback and you see blood on the floor. Like, dude, that was, like, those scenes were amazing. Those were the best scenes. I guess it might have been ruined a little bit by the ending, you know, because that obviously leaves some impact. And that's the part of the season that I'm not super, like, I'm a little bit more on the fence about, but we'll see how it turns out there. But I really enjoyed everything about the story structure. I enjoyed these flashbacks as well. Like, oh my god, the flashbacks were really solid. Like, just ways to show how these characters were in between the time of Camp Cretaceous and then, you know, the real actual Chaos Theory season. Like, we don't normally see that, but I love how they don't just jump the shark. Like, there's so much stuff that happened in between them that wasn't dinosaur related and was just them hanging out as people because, you know, it makes sense. And then, you know, they get divided because of the differences between them. And then we get to get these awesome flashbacks of these character moments. I mean, I'm thinking of all of them. I just enjoyed all of them. Yaz's interactions with Brooklyn in the flashback, that was really good. Darius's and Kenji's, though, those were the best ones. I didn't even care about Kenji and Brooklyn's relationship, especially in season 4. Like, those elements that I found were weak, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I didn't find the characters to be, like, amazing in Camp Cretaceous. Like, I like these characters just because we were with them for such a long time. Like, I knew them, but, you know, whenever you think about it, they are very much stereotypical in a way that a lot of kids' shows are. But this show, like, really does a great job, and I really want to go into some of the character stuff in this video and, like, even later on, because there was so much related to that I just genuinely, like, enjoyed with these characters, which I never thought I'd be saying. Again, those things, like Kenji's and Brooklyn's relationship, never thought I'd care. But they just pull it off really well. I'll also talk about each of the characters here, honestly, which I know I've already touched up on some of these characters already, but I want to go ahead and, you know, kind of go over a couple of them here. And the first one, of course, is Darius, who's kind of still the main character here. We get to see him a lot. I really like Darius in the season, honestly. I think he was probably the character you could latch on the most to, which is, you know, the way I felt, because even in Camp Cretaceous as well, because, you know, he's a dino nerd, but they don't really go into that at all here. Like he's a bit nerdy, obviously. He works for the DPG. There's a lot with him, right? There's a lot of exposition. There's a lot of things that we don't know about, but they just work with it. You just flow with it, and it never feels overwhelming, I think, with him. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed him. He felt, like, different enough, but with his own, you could still feel, like, some of his character moments in some of the interactions that he had. Like, he's still the same person. It's just, you know, it was interesting to see these little tendencies. Like, there was something so off about him in the season, especially when it came to Kenji. I don't know if that had to do with the writing, if it was intentional or not, but I don't know, I enjoyed that little bit of offness that you don't usually see with a show like this, that shows a bit of, like, extra, like, character. And again, there was a lot of great stuff. I loved each of his interactions. Again, I liked him with Kenji a lot later on. The one thing I will say, though, and I probably should have mentioned when I was talking about cons, but yeah, his reveal about Brooklyn, it's not very good. And it's not something that holds the season back, which is why I didn't mention it as one of the real cons. It's just something that it's unnecessary. Like, the fact that he had, like, a romantic tension with Brooklyn. They could just be good friends, It kind of takes out some of the stakes. Again, it kind of takes out the, I don't know how to describe it, but, like, I guess the credibility of it. Not the credibility, but, I don't know, the legitimatability of it, I guess. The legitimacy, I guess that's a real word, but I don't know. It took out a little bit of that, I think they should have just been really, really good friends, and he could just... I feel like the reveal that he didn't want to show Brooklyn's phone to Kenji because of all these voice messages and because he, quote-unquote, loved her is weak, because he could just really, really, miss Brooklyn, and he might find that embarrassing, and that's fine, and I feel like that could have worked. And maybe, I guess that, because of him, being embarrassed by what happened between him and Brooklyn, that's the reason why Brooklyn actually died, because, he wasn't there. I mean, he would have died either way, but, maybe that's the reason why, quote-unquote, died, of course. I always have to mention that, but I don't know. I felt like that was, I don't know if that was just me, but that just felt really weak, and it made me less invested in him as a character. Not a huge deal, not super detrimental, just something that could have been completely glossed over, and kind of, again, takes away the legitimacy. Like, it feels like, oh, so if you were just good friends with her, you wouldn't care, and you would have been like, oh, fine, she died, whatever. But because, you had this tension with her romantically, like, now you care. Just feels, I'm sure that's not the case in what the writers intended. It just kind of comes off that way, which is a bit weird. But otherwise, I love Darius. I think he was the best character in this season, for sure. Really enjoyed everything with him. Kenji, again, I kind of briefly talked about him with my negatives, but I think I really, really enjoyed him after he met Mr. Khan, his father, and then they killed him off, obviously, which I think was really, really well done. A lot of people are saying that he kind of started to get a redemption arc. I don't see it. I think he was still a bad character whenever he died. I don't think he was I don't think he was a good person. He was still manipulative, like, in that very scene. I think they could have done an arc, but I think the idea was overall good, and I felt like the actual emotional impact was there, so everything about it really worked to me. I enjoyed everything about it. I think him dying was a good choice. It's a good death scene, too. I don't know, there's just things like that just really, really delight me as no, not the death, obviously. That sounds really out of context, but there's things like that really just delight me as a Jurassic fan, as a fan of, like, movies and TVs in general, because I don't feel like enough movies and TVs do that. I feel like subverting expectations, something that either TV shows and movies don't go far enough into, or, they do poorly, and I feel like this show just does such a good job of it, and they always kept me on edge because of that, so I don't know, I personally really enjoyed that, and Kenji throughout the later half of the season, dude, when he just started breaking down, like, you gotta feel with it, they didn't hold back, there wasn't, like, a tear or two, it was like, no, he just, like, full out went on, like, oh, man. Like, and you could see it, like, there with Darius. Like, he didn't really know what to do in that situation, but it's amazing. It was actually amazing. And I'm not going to call that, like, it's not just good because it's emotional and, it hits you in the feels. But it's good because it's just good storytelling, It adds, again, stakes. It adds stakes. It adds, like, a reason for Kenji to be mad. So it adds motivation, and it just made him a way stronger character in this season. I really enjoyed him after that point. I really enjoyed everything between him and Darius. It finally felt like these are two real people, like real, actual people, and they're just talking, and they're just trying to get through the days, and I just really enjoyed that. I felt like I enjoyed all the other three characters here, which we'll talk about in a second, but I don't know, these two, they felt real to me. And I just enjoyed them so thoroughly. Like, I think everything with Kenji was great. Everything with Kenji Darius was great. Ben, I also liked quite a bit as well. I think especially towards the beginning. Towards the end, he kind of takes a backseat, especially with his bumpy storyline, which isn't the strongest. But towards the beginning, I do think he was quite good. Like, the way that he kind of showed up at Darius's house. And he felt like he had a decent personality. I don't know, I just like him being upbeat. I like him being happy. I think that's good enough. I know some people call it corny, but I don't know. I thought it was good. Like, this isn't really the show that you should come to if you're looking for compelling drama. Like, there's good stuff in here, don't get me wrong, but, like, if you're going to pick apart everything here and call it less grounded, then I don't think this is really the show for you. But I enjoyed Ben quite a bit. He was pretty good, pretty solid character. Pretty much the same as he was before. One thing, though, I will say with Ben's voice actor, he's a good voice actor, I'm sure, but he did not try to put a different voice on for this guy at all. Every other character sounds mature. I guess Kenji doesn't sound much different, but he was already pretty old. I don't think they didn't try at all with Ben. He sounds the exact same. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess maybe that adds to the charm, but I don't know. He's tall now, and that just feels like weird that he doesn't have not a different voice actor, obviously, but like he kind of feels like he's still talking like a child, if you know what I mean. I feel like probably could have put more effort in that. Just a nitpick, but just like I definitely noticed it, as the season progressed. Sammy and Yasmina are doing their own thing. They're kind of in, again, this romantic relationship. And I think it's good representation, honestly. I don't think they need to go all out with it, which is what they did. They didn't go all out with it. So I don't think I think it's casual, and that's good. And it was pretty solid. It's not anything special or anything. I didn't think there was anything crazy, but at least in season 5, I felt like it was weak just because, again, it's so random that they're on this island and they're all dying. And I felt like it was more of a thing, like, it felt like they just fell for each other just because it was the only people they'd seen for so long. And so I felt like the same way with Kenji and, I forgot her name, Brooklyn. And, when you're with a group of, like, 6 people, you're just, on an island for a long time, you tend to get attached to them, I mean, I wouldn't know because I've never been on Dinosaur-filled Island for a year and a half, but hey, I'm just saying, that kind of happens. But I think they went into it pretty well. I'd like to see more of it, honestly. I like the way that Sammy was really attached to Brooklyn and how she was very jittery. I like that entire episode. Again, episode 1 through 3. Episode 3, I think, is where they actually meet Sammy. Yeah, that's such good stuff there, right? Like, everything with the chasing and stuff. But just with her character in general, I enjoyed her a bunch. I thought she was very good. Yasmina, also pretty good. Probably the weakest character, honestly. Like, she lives in this kind of PTSD from dinosaurs protected area, which is a pretty interesting idea, but I think it works really well. I think, it's a fun idea to have in this world, and it makes sense, It's a bit, like, out there, I think, but I think it's in a good way as well. So I didn't have a huge problem with that. Not much to say with her character. Not really anything super memorable, but hopefully she gets time to shine here, because, I mean, definitely Brooklyn, Darius, and Kenji have always kind of been the 3 stars of the show, and sometimes Ben as well. Ben was pretty good in the season. Yasmina and Sammy have never really had major plot lines, though. I think Yasmina was really, really good in Camp Cretaceous season 3, but after that, I don't think she really did anything too special. So I'd like to see a bit more of a focus on her storyline, because she's the only one that doesn't really feel like connected to the story in some way. She just feels like, oh, it's one of the campers. But otherwise, very well done. Yeah, very well done with every single one of the campers. I enjoyed them all very well. And of course, Brooklyn wasn't there. I mean, for the most part, she was there at the end, but I don't know. I like the flashbacks. Again, all these character moments. I love how everything with Kenji and Darius and Brooklyn all centered around each other. Like, it was all centered around Brooklyn's death and, guilt and, that kind of stuff. And those good themes that you got to get in there, but also don't feel forced at any point. Some of them are really good, man. Like, the new character Mateo, which I'm not really going to cover because he's not a super interesting character, but whenever he was talking about, what happened that night when Brooklyn died, good imagery, really good imagery, and B, it touches you. It touches you because, I mean, I knew at that point that she was probably not dead, and it's not really ruined by the fact that she wasn't dead because it's such a good scene. It's such a good scene, and it's just things that go, really far and just go really hard, And it's so refreshing to see, especially compared to the last couple of movies and seasons of Camp Cretaceous that just feel like they have no stakes. And I don't hate those movies. I hate Fallen Kingdom, but I don't hate Dominion. I don't hate seasons 4 and 5. I might hate season 4, honestly. But I don't hate these pieces of Jurassic Park media, but it just feels so distant because it doesn't feel like they're really going all out with the story that they want to tell. This season goes so hard because it's the story they want to tell, and that feels so refreshing to me, honestly, especially with these characters. The final thing we gotta talk about is a villain in the Atrociraptors. And when I talk about the villain, I'm talking about the creepy-ass lady, the one with the hair and no eyebrows. Don't know what her deal with is, but everybody in the comment sections of videos are talking about her because she is one menace. She is a menace, and in a very, very delightful way. I love the very distant, haunted feeling of her. She doesn't talk at all. I just realized looking back that she doesn't speak a single line. She's just there, but she also has weird flicks of emotion. In episode 10, whenever she's getting the Atrociraptors and they're all tired and she's about to have them attack and kill the campers. She just decides not to just because they're weak, but she has such a weird relationship, they're pets almost. I know some people find that unrealistic. I don't. I find it unrealistic in the perfect way possible. It's not like season 4 of Camp Cretaceous where they just have these biospheres or whatever they're called, and there's just this weird futuristic technology that doesn't even need to exist in the first place. This feels important for the story, and it adds so much. That whistle, so it's creepy in the best way possible. And I love how she isn't introduced at the beginning and it's just the Atrociraptors. Like, I thought that story would be a little bit weird, because, yeah, it is weird. Like, sending dinosaurs after, people to kill them, which we don't even know her motive yet, but that will be interesting to find out. We don't even know her motives, and, she's sending Atrociraptors, dinosaur raptors, after to kill, these characters, and, it just doesn't seem reasonable at all. It's like, that's such a dumb way to do it. But then, like, it's explained later on, they're trying to just cover their tracks. I don't know. I think everything about that was really, really well done. And yeah, I love the Atrociraptors season. Such an upgrade from Dominion, where they were just there to be like, mindless killing machines. But they really go all out into that, like, mind controlling. I don't know if it's mind controlling necessarily, but, controlling thing. I hope the Atrociraptors don't kind of betray her. I hope that's not where they go with this character, because this character is too creepy for some Atrociraptor. Like, I feel like she could beat each one of them up individually, and they have, like, such a weird connection that it would be weird to see them, like, just turn on her or something, like, at the end. Like, that would be her death. Like, I can't wait to see what they do with this character. She is so, I hate her, but she's so cool. She's actually such a good plot device. So yeah, really excited to see where they go with that, but also horrified, because yeah, that she is creepy. She's definitely one of the darker elements of the season. Then when it comes to the dialogue and interactions between a lot of the characters, I touched on this a little bit. Some of it is corny, but honestly, I felt like it was an upgrade from Camp Cretaceous. It felt a lot more, in check with the real world. I don't think anything was super drawn out. I feel like a lot of kids shows try to be, like, more edgy and, have, like, super drawn out jokes that are, like, supposed to get a chuckle out of you. But this season, like, there were enough, like, chuckles, but obviously that wasn't, like, the main intent. It's not supposed to be a comedy, but you enjoy it for what it is. You get a one-off line here, a one-off, usually interaction, better than, like, a joke or something. You get, like, a nice interaction between two characters that's just funny, and I don't know, things like that just really, really strengthen me. Again, I'll get into more examples, like, at another date if I really want to and you guys are interested, but just in terms of what I hear, again, I don't want this video to be insanely long, because it shouldn't be, but I already know it is, so we'll just move on. I guess the last topic I really want to cover is the death toll. Yeah, the death toll in this season was really surprising, really shocking to me. Like, the death isn't super deep or, like, dark or disturbing or anything, it's just such a good thing. Like, obviously things with Mr. Khan are really good, but then the death scenes of the villains, like, I don't know, it's just sweet Jurassic karma in a way. I enjoyed all of that. I really did. And good death scenes too, like, not just, like, they showed enough stuff. Obviously, Brooklyn had the potential to have the best death scene, except she didn't actually die. Which comes to the ending. I'm not going to really talk on the ending or touch much upon it, but it's fine. Like, it just depends. Whenever it comes to endings of the show, like, not the finale, but, like, the actual, like, ending, like, wherever it leaves it off, I usually just leave that for the next season to pick up with. It's all about what the next season does, I don't want to judge it too hard right now, but overall, I didn't hate it as much as some other people might have, If she died, would I be unhappy? No. Not because I don't like her as a character, not because I don't like her personality or anything, not that I think she's so annoying that you'd have to kill her off. I think she was one of the better campers, actually. It's just that, like, you really could have increased the stakes there, but I think the stakes were increased in so many other ways that it was worth it. So let's move on to my final thoughts. Alright, I know this one was longer than you guys probably wanted it to be, but I just want to get everything out here, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the season. If you didn't, always let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you enjoyed it, tell me the aspects you enjoyed. Tell me if you enjoyed it even more than me, like you thought it was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, best thing you've ever seen. I'd love to know. Or if you just thought, like, it was way weaker, just kind of mid. Let me know. I'd really love to hear your thoughts, because I'm very, very much interested, because I enjoy this. I enjoy this wholeheartedly, and I'm very excited to see what they do in the future. I haven't been this excited for Jurassic Media since Season 3 of Camp Cretaceous. I do want to briefly touch up on criticisms, because, those do exist on some level, and I've heard some people criticize certain things with the season. I wasn't going to name him, but I will name him now, because he's a pretty big YouTuber, and I'm a huge fan of him, so it's not like I'm devaluing him or anything. But Clayton Fireready, he makes Jurassic Park content, some of the best out there. And he did a review of the season, and he wasn't the biggest fan of it. His main problem was how it felt too kidified. He felt like it was held back by animation. And to that, you can have your own opinions, of course. Clayton is totally valid here. I just completely disagree, honestly. I don't think, it could be kidified, right? You could argue that, but I don't think animation was the problem at all. I don't think animation holds this one back at all. I think animation is a way to, create grander, larger things that just don't really work in live action and make them enjoyable here. So I genuinely don't think that was a problem. I don't think anything was kidified. I think the corniness, if there was any, really, nothing really bothered me. I mean, like, I'm a teenager, right? I'm a teenager, and there's things in there that would, like, normally piss me off. or not piss me off, but, make me feel like, that's a little weird. But they don't. They don't. They just don't, because they know, they're so confident with it. They don't have to make a joke every second like, wow, that was real cringe, wasn't it? So is this show made for kids? Yes, absolutely. There is no denying that. Its primary audience is for kids. But is that a problem? No, not at all. None of these movies are rated R. None of these movies are meant to push the boundaries and be super violent and have crazy stuff in it. That's not the point, It's supposed to leave an impact, and it's meant for the whole family, And I think that's what Chaos Theory really gets across, while also having some of those darker, more mature themes, which is something I really appreciate. I'm glad they went that route with this season. All around, very, very good. I do really like Chaos Theory Season 1, and I hope we get things like it in the future. Hopefully they don't mess up Brooklyn's whole death revival sort of thing, but I don't think they will, honestly. I think they've got some good plans for it. We're just going to see if it pays off. But yeah, excellent season with an incredible first 3 episodes that I love so much. And the rest of it is really good too. Again, I like it a lot. It's just that those first 3 were good. I'm going to give this one, my personal score is an 8 out of 10. I really, really enjoy this one. 8 out of 10 is also what I gave the first Jurassic World movie and what I gave Camp Cretaceous Season 3, my favorite season of Camp Cretaceous. I don't know where it stacks compared to those two, especially Camp Cretaceous Season 3. And I do like that season a lot. So, this might be up there. I'm not sure. But that's all I had for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. See you all next time. This is Jurassic Insider, signing out.